Every year, Ethan told himself the same lie. Next year will be different. Next year he'd start the business. Next year he'd get disciplined. Next year he'd stop wasting time. But next year kept arriving, and nothing changed. Meanwhile, everyone around him kept leveling up, and one night, that reality destroyed him. Ethan hated opening social media, not because of the app itself, because every scroll reminded him of what he wasn't becoming. Friends buying cars, people traveling, teenagers making money online. Even worse, some of them used to ask him for advice. Now they were ahead of him. That kind of pain hits different, because it forces you to confront a brutal possibility. What if I wasted my potential? And Ethan asked himself that question constantly. At 24 years old, he still lived like a confused teenager, sleeping late, escaping responsibility, talking about dreams instead of building them. But the scariest part? He knew exactly what he needed to do. He just couldn't make himself do it consistently. Most people think failure feels dramatic. It doesn't. Usually it feels comfortable. That's why it's dangerous. Ethan's life wasn't terrible enough to force change. It was just numb. Cheap dopamine kept him distracted. Videos, scrolling, gaming, temporary pleasure, enough entertainment to stop him from fixing his life. That's the modern prison. Not chains, comfort. And comfort slowly destroyed Ethan's ambition year after year. One night, Ethan attended a family dinner. Big mistake. Relatives started asking questions immediately. What are you doing these days? When are you getting serious about life? Your younger cousin already bought a car. Every sentence felt like humiliation. Then his uncle laughed and said, Ethan has big dreams. He just doesn't act on them. Everyone chuckled awkwardly, but Ethan couldn't laugh because it was true. That sentence followed him home like a ghost. That night, Ethan sat alone in darkness staring at the ceiling. No distractions, no music, just silence. And silence forces honesty. For the first time in years, he stopped blaming motivation, stopped blaming circumstances, stopped pretending he had time. Because deep down, he realized something terrifying. If he kept living this way for another 5 years, he would hate himself completely. That thought scared him more than failure ever did. So at 3:11 a.m., he made a decision. He would become obsessed with discipline, not motivation, discipline. The next few months felt brutal. Ethan cut distractions aggressively, deleted apps, started waking up early, forced himself into uncomfortable routines. At first it felt miserable. His brain fought him constantly. That's what happens when someone addicted to comfort suddenly chooses growth. Your mind panics, but Ethan kept going, even on bad days, especially on bad days, because he finally understood. The days you don't feel like improving matter the most. As Ethan changed, he noticed something strange. Most people around him didn't want growth. They wanted distraction. Friends mocked his routines. People called him too serious. Some even acted uncomfortable around his ambition. That's when Ethan learned a brutal truth. Your discipline reminds lazy people of the life they're avoiding, and instead of shrinking himself, he kept building, silently. 1 year later, Ethan's life looked completely different. Better physique, better money, better mindset. But the biggest difference? Self-respect. For the first time in years, he trusted himself. That changes a person completely. Because confidence isn't built by talking. It's built by keeping promises to yourself repeatedly. And Ethan finally became someone he respected. One evening, Ethan reopened an old notebook filled with goals he once wrote years earlier. Most of them still weren't completed, but instead of feeling shame, he smiled. Because this time he knew something important. He was finally moving forward. Maybe slower than others, maybe imperfectly, but forward. And honestly, that's all life really asks from you. Progress. Some people stay broke financially. Others stay broke mentally. They stay trapped in excuses, trapped in comfort, trapped in someday, and years disappear before they even notice. But Ethan learned something powerful. Your life changes the moment you stop waiting to feel ready. Nobody ever feels fully ready. The people winning right now, they just started anyway. Tired, scared, uncertain. But they moved. And maybe that's the lesson here. The gap between who you are and who you want to become is built by the habits you repeat daily. Not motivation, not luck. Habits. So maybe tonight, instead of escaping your future again, you finally start building it.